Yes, sir.
Hey, fight fans, welcome to another edition of Rolling with the Punches. Today we're in beautiful, the wine country of Temecula, California, here at the House of Pain with the owner and founder, Dave Trujillo.
Hello, everybody. Pleasure to meet you.
Dave, how's Fort Lauderdale right now?
You know what? The weather's finally beautiful. We had a storm last week for 4 days. Today I went for a long bike ride, did some snorkeling, and the weather's beautiful, man, over here in Fort Lauderdale.
Right
Thank you. Yeah.
We're gonna coast to coast with this story right now. So go ahead, take it over.
Hey, Dave, first of all, I've heard a lot about you. I've been following you on Facebook and I've been following you on Twitter. And I'm telling you what an honor it is to have you on our show today. You know, and Jaime also sent me your bio and I got a chance to read it over the weekend. And I mean, talking about God's miracles, talking about how God, you know, brought somebody out, you know, of the world that you were in and where you're at today. And not only has you where you're at, but you're also giving back to the community. You're making a difference in the community. And with that said, I understand that you brought the House of Pain from Denver, Colorado. Now it's in Temecula. How did it get started? Tell us about it. We're very interested in hearing about this great program that you're doing for the community.
Well, you know, this program here started with me back in the late 70s and early 80s. I had a cousin that was trying to mentor me many years ago. And he took me to the House of Pain gym. It's the 20th Street gym in Colorado, Denver, Colorado. They had a weight room and then they had a boxing gym on the other side. He actually took me over there to start bodybuilding. And I kind of disappeared from him and I ended up in the boxing area. And he was looking all over for me and found me in the middle of the ring. First time I had ever been in the ring, but
how old were you, Dave? How old were you when that happened? How old were you?
I was 10 years old when that happened.
Really? The first time you got in the ring, huh?
Yeah.
All right.
Well,
That's odd.
What, man, I was scared, man. I didn't want to get the funny thing about it is I had been hit outside so many times, so much. You know, it's kind of my story of when I grew up. I was broken first before I was ever built.
Yeah.
And that being said, I knew that I needed that in my life. I had a cousin that helped me out there, but I really didn't have anybody. My dad died when I was 9 months. I lived with my mother, poor thing. Unfortunately, she saw my dad die right in front of her eyes with a freak gunshot. And she was a very broken and fearful and scared lady.
Yeah.
So that being said, I picked up on that too, being her only child. But she had 3 other children, that my brothers and sisters, but I never met them until I was 30. So at that point there, I had nobody except for my mother. And I had my grandfather who helped me and a couple of uncles here and there would kind of help me out. But for the most part, I was alone. And so I was in fear of the whole world, but there was something inside of me and it came deep in the blood. And my true story will tell the whole deal eventually about how that came about. But I knew I had to get in that ring, whether it was to learn how to get hit and keep getting hit, but surviving it. Yeah. And so I made a pretty much a boxing career out of being able just to go in there and hang with anybody who could hit me. Yeah. And after a while, with that program, I come in, finally somebody, because tell you what, gyms are nothing nice, man. They'll chew you up and they'll spit you out, and they still do to this day. Yeah. And I have a different approach on that for you. But back then I stood in there and I hung in there, and you know what? It turned into years and years of me just being almost like a professional sparring guy. You know, I never really did anything with it, but I needed it because the streets of Denver at the time were very brutal. A lot of bullying, a lot of gangs were starting to form. In the 80s, the Crips were starting to come out from California. The Bloods were starting to come out from the south, and they were migrating me back into Denver, so they were infesting over there. And we were fighting every day. Every day, I think that my whole high school career, I think I fought almost every day while I was a freshman and a sophomore. And when you go to a school that's 90% black, 7% white, and 3% other, me being part of that other, we had a fight. And so I loved it because I had hands, and if it wasn't for the House of Pain, I would have never learned that. Yeah. But the problem with that is I kind of went in a bad way with that. I never really picked a fight because I knew what it was like to be bullied. But I used to I used to, how do you say, I had the ansias, man, that, mess with me. Come on, just mess with me. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I lived that life, man, all the way till my early 20s and whatnot. And so that being said, if it wasn't for the House of Pain, I would have never survived the streets of Denver. I would have never able to get over being bullied because I was bullied a lot. Had a stepdad that he was ex-Korean bad alcoholic. And boy, man, that guy put me through some
pain.
He's the one who broke me. He broke me.
Yeah.
And I had to take it upon myself throughout the years to rebuild myself and build myself up. And so I look at it like a scar.
Yeah.
You know, when you take somebody that's broken and they get rebuilt and they rebuild themselves, that's a scar that you're not going to ever tear again.
Exactly.
And so I lived my life like that.
Yeah.
And thank God I was able to walk the streets of Denver. At one time, it was so territorial. You had the north side, the west side, the south side, and the east side. And it was, it was rare that you find anybody going by themselves over to the other sides of town. But through the boxing and through the street fighting, I ended up getting blessed by pretty much every side of Denver.
Yeah.
I was able, and then I ended up making friends with everybody all over Denver.
Yeah.
A lot of people wanted me to join their gangs as they were coming up. And I was always solo. It seemed like I was born alone. I never got involved with anybody. I had a couple of friends, whatnot, that I had, and they always like to call me their leader, but I never wanted to be that guy.
Yeah.
I just wanted to be respected and be left alone because I'd been bullied so much when I was a kid.
Yeah.
So therefore, coming to now, I'm getting ready to go into retirement, and this COVID, I always knew I was going to open up a boxing gym, and that's what I wanted to do when I retired because I'll never quit working.
Yeah.
So that being said, through the years, I trained my sons in boxing. They did pretty good with it. They made it so far here and there, what have you. I trained other athletes in boxing. A couple of MMA fighters come to me for their hands, teach them their hands. This way they don't have to go to the ground. And boy, did we prove that, man. We've been proving that for 15 years now.
Yeah.
I give them their hands and they never go to the ground. If they do, it's for a short period or what have you, or usually it's because they got knocked out. That's why they went to the ground.
Yeah.
So the passion for this is just a lifelong passion to take these kids nowadays. And I don't care where you're at, whether you're in the suburbs or where you're in the city, no matter where you're at nowadays. I mean, there's a lot of children, a lot of kids out there growing up without father figures and men, real men anymore to step in and fill the gaps and teach these people to be, good citizens.
Yeah.
Good productive citizens of society with respect, to understand, what they're getting into in this life. Because when they go out there, they're lost.
Yeah.
So we call it the House of Pain. There's a reason for that. For me, the House of Pain is whatever pain you will endure here, you'll be able to handle any type of pain outside of here from here in the rest of your life. Whatever humility you learn here, because we are very respectful here. We're very respectful for anybody who comes in here. We invite everybody in. I want broken as broken can get, because that's my specialty.
Yeah.
To take them and to build them up, give them the foundation, give them their solid ground to stand on, and this way they build from there. There's so much of that in this world right now being missed, and obviously we all see that. So right now, I just want to fill that gap. I want to bring these children up, whoever that I have in my life, and this way when they come back and they look 20, 30 years later, and I pray to God that we could build House of Pain to do this, just like I did. I looked back at the original House of Pain, and I love it. It's amazing that it's still there. The ring that I fought in is still there. It's like a precious jewel. They don't touch it anymore.
Yeah.
And so if these kids can come back 20, 30, 40 years later and they say, you know what? If it wasn't for the House of Pain, I may not be where I'm at today.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And boxing saves more lives than it will ever take.
Yeah.
I'm a strong believer in that. People think it's a violent sport. It's not. It's a gentleman's sport. Does it take you to the depths of yourself? Absolutely. Does it teach you who you are? Absolutely. And that's what I'm here for. I'm just here trying to do my work that God appointed me to do and pass it and pay it forward. you know, because I didn't have that opportunity. I kind of had it. I had so much of an opportunity, but I didn't have anybody actually standing behind me and taking me through the process.
Yeah.
Everything I did was backwards.
There was a lack of mentorship, basically.
Yeah, I didn't get any real mentorship besides my grandfather. My grandfather was an incredible man, but he was in his 70s when I was a child. And you know, he was like, I don't know if you guys remember the old commercials. It was called the E.F. Hutton commercials.
Yes.
It's like, okay, hey, when E.F. Hutton speaks, everybody listens.
Exactly.
Right? That was my grandfather, Seferino Ortega Rodriguez. He was from Zacatecas.
Yeah.
And, you know, he very rarely spoke. But me being so young and so little with him, probably till the age of 12, that he basically would talk to me when I would go visit or live with him off and on. I was back and forth between my mom and my grandparents. And so when he spoke to me, man, I was wondering, well, why is he telling me this? You know, I'm a 5-year-old little kid. I'm a 4-year-old little kid. You know, he's telling me, Mr. Dave, a real man takes care of responsibilities. I mean, I'm 5 years old. I'm like, okay, Grandpa, I don't know what a responsibility is. I'll tell you what, everything that man taught me in that short period of time came to me back through my whole life, over and over again.
Hey, Dave, I was going to ask you, do you have a mentorship program now? Do you have police officers, probation officers, people from the community, construction workers donating their time to mentor the kids in your program? Do you have that, or are you going to have that in the near future? Or am I prophesizing?
Right now,
or am I prophesizing?
Right now, yes, absolutely. No. Absolutely. We got a couple of guys that come in and help out right now.
Good.
One is a retired Air Force.
Okay.
His name is Lorenzo, but we call him Coach Boxer. And boy, he's good looking, but he's got that big boxer's nose, and he comes in and helps me train the boys, and he's just all about what we're about. We're about building these children and building these people and not hurting them. Most gyms you walk into, God bless them. I appreciate them. I love them for what they are and who they're there. But most of them, you walk in there, you know, they're going to get you in the ring and they're going to get you right out.
Yeah.
Well, they're going to test you right away, and you don't have it, you're out. Well, you know what? Send them to me. Because you know what? I'm not training them to be the next world heavyweight champion or middleweight, lightweight. I'm training them so they can survive in just the world that we live in today. We will get them. God has always blessed us. Yeah. He will bring us those gladiators. But you know what? That's not where the focus is. The focus is to help make, you know, productive individuals in this world, you know, and be humble about it. Have a lot of humility. Yeah. You know, because arrogance is such a cancer.
Yes.
It feeds into the self so much, you know, and being self for me for many years, I learned it didn't work for me.
Exactly.
Every time I put it for me, and I took all the glory, I lost it or it went away.
Hey,
when
Dave.
I put it to him, I keep it.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, what's the age group of the kids that you're helping right now? And is there a monthly cost, a weekly cost? How does that work? Because I got 2 grandchildren. I got 3 grandchildren that live in Temecula. And even though I live in Florida, but I'm going to what's the age group? First of all, let's start off with the age group. What's the age group?
We take them if they're able. What we'll do is we'll take them about 8 years old if they're able to take pay attention. Yeah. So we try them out a little bit, you know what I mean, and say if they're ready or not. Some kids, we got 8-year-olds that are sharp and fast and they catch on right away. Okay. They listen, and you know, you got the other kids that are a little bit less developed. And what I mean by that is just that they're not ready at that point. So I let the parents know, but we give everybody 1 week for free to try it out. Okay. And that's for me to assess them and for me to take a look at them. And if they're able to understand it, then we go forward with them. Once I get more help, which we will, because we're seeking and we're asking the Lord to bring us good godly people to help us with this whole journey. Yeah, we'll be able to even sit with those ones that are you know, you've got to corral them, you know, because they want to run over here and run over there. That being said, we take them from 8 all the way up to whatever age you want to come in. And then is it a monthly charge, yearly cost, weekly cost, monthly cost? What's the cost on that per kid? Yeah, right now it's a monthly cost. What we do for me to run the program and to keep it going and keep the lights on, we're charging $150 per month. Okay. Now, what that entails is we give up to 4 hours a day of training. Okay. 4 days a week, Monday through Thursday. We take off Fridays because whoever my sparring guys are, we are either sparring in here or we go to other gyms and we spar. And sometimes we occasionally do that on a Saturday as well. So that's all included. That's all included in the $150 charge. A lot of other places they're less expensive or more expensive. I'm not really sure, but when you do the bottom line, in order for me to keep the doors open and be able to afford the equipment and keep the upkeep of it, it's $150 per child.
And right now, right now with COVID, are you still taking new students, or are you going to wait for the vaccination? Where are you at with that, taking new students?
Well, right now what we're doing is everybody that's come in has pretty much passed all the guidelines and stuff like that. And they're going straight from here, straight to home, straight back to here, straight to home. When the shutdowns are happening. So when you come in the gym, I mean, we try to keep our gym immaculate. I mean, it's cleaned 3 to 5 times per day. Everything we touch is clean. The bags are cleaned all day long. The second these guys are all done, they wipe them all down. The floors are clean. The ring is constantly clean. The second we use it, we clean it all up. All the weight equipment that we have in here too is cleaned up. It's a small facility. It's only 1,500 square feet. But you know what? That's all we need is a mustard seed.
Yeah. And then another question I have. Go ahead. Oh, go ahead.
When you're done with this question, I want to change the tide. I want to start asking him some boxing questions.
Boxing stuff. Okay, yeah. Well, I'm just asking him. So, I mean, if there's people from Temecula that are watching the show, including my grandchildren, because my daughter's going to watch this and their husbands are going to watch this, I want my grandchildren to be part of your program. Now, if there are potential, though they're going to be, trust me, at least 2 of them are. The other one, I'm going to convince their parents, but 2 of them are. They're little tough guys. And they know scripture. They know the book of Psalms. They quote scripture, the 1:7, 1:8. So yeah, expect for them in a couple of weeks. Now, the other question that I have is, if they show potential and discipline and so forth, do you prepare them for the amateurs? Do you take them to shows? Where do they go from there in your program?
Yeah, well, you know what? We have so many amateurs that are ready to jump in the tournament, in the tournament challenges and stuff like that. And yes, we are preparing them for that. Now, with that comes a little bit more intense training, a lot more technique training and whatnot. And we're real rigid on how we do that, along with their cardio and their conditioning. So they go through a lot of conditioning and whatnot. So when they do open California back up, or if we have to go to another state to enter a competition, they're going to be ready. These guys are all ready. Now, what we do is when they're younger and they're coming up, they show potential. Well, what we do is we'll turn around and we'll start putting them with the upper level guys, and then we'll start the upper level guys over here understand, because they were there at that point too. They weren't always good. So we teach them to make, we call it iron sharpen iron. Of course, that's a great saying in all.
Oh, great saying. Yeah.
So guess what? But we actually apply it to where our upper level boxers will help bring up the lower level boxers. And then it allows me to assess them even more and make changes that I need to change. Another thing we do too is we don't have one style of fighting. I've been very blessed and very fortunate through all the years that most gyms you walk into, and I've been to hundreds of gyms, and they all have one style or maybe 2 at the most. So we could go all the way down to puro Mexicano style and go straight up with you. Or I could bring you a Lomachenko. I've got 2 little Lomachenkos right now.
Really?
These kids
Awesome.
They've been fighting for 5 months. And now they're sparring kids that have been fighting for 4 or 5 years, and they're stepping on the pedal to the metal and the gas. And these guys going 5-month guys against 5-year guys that have championships, and they're frustrating these guys, and they're actually beating them at their own games. So these are the blessings that we get every once in a while that the Lord gives you. And so right now I'm nurturing these 2 young men, and other ones are coming up as well, but these 2 are something to see. And I'll say their name. It's Kevin and Alvin Garcia.
Okay. I got to witness them this morning.
Did you? Okay. You saw it, huh? Little Lomachenkos.
They had that presence. I could say, hey, something special here.
Really? That's awesome. Yeah. Go ahead, Jaime. You want to answer some questions?
If we're talking about Loma, I want his opinion on that last Loma fight.
Yeah.
All right. My assessment of the Loma fight, I called it from the beginning. I says, Teofimo better have some true God-given talent.
Yeah.
And as that fight starter the first, second round, I was like, all right, Loma, he's always been a slow starter. We know that. He wants to feel you out. This way he can start setting up his angle shots and getting comfortable with it, And he did it. He went out there and he started getting comfortable, but the second he started taking those angle shots, it was amazing because Teofimo had an answer for them. It's something that Lomachenko has really not experienced in them rings. Everybody he's fought mostly have an answer for those angle shots. The second he started pulling the angles in the fourth and fifth a little bit, testing out, and he was getting caught by the speed and the power of Teofimo.
Yeah.
That lost an extra 2 rounds for Loma. That's why he came out even later, because when you're in the ring and you start getting hit, or you start throwing out there, you're in there, you're comfortable, so you start doing what you do that is going to start to win the fight. And somebody stops you and has an answer to it, that's going to slow down your production. And it slowed him down for 2 more rounds, and that's why he got such a late start.
Yeah,
I agree. So that was a week ago. Coming up, I guess, in a day or two, we have Tank and Leo Santa Cruz going at it. What's your take on that fight?
My take on that is, Tank better have a lot in the tank.
Yeah.
Leo Santa Cruz throws 170 punches per round.
Yeah.
And that's a natural for him. I'll bet you he's going to bring 200 punches per round.
Yeah.
I don't think Tank has ever actually had that type of pressure. And Leo Santa Cruz is no joke. He's seasoned in the ring. I mean, he's a master in it.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got 1 loss and one draw, or whatever, and he's got 1 loss. I believe it was to
Frampton.
Gonzalez.
No, it was to Frampton.
Frampton.
Yes.
Yeah. So, but I've been watching Leo Santa Cruz come up for many years, man. we used to go down and go to the Golden Glove or Golden Boy events over at the StubHub. And I used to sit in the front, right there in the front of the ringside with all these young guys, Abner Bodies, all of them. But we watch Leo Santa Cruz, and I'll tell you what, he has an answer.
Yes.
This guy is seasoned. Tank is an incredible young talent. We'll see what happens. He's got to catch him early. If he doesn't catch him early, he's going to lose by points all the way to the 12th round. That's my take on it.
I agree with you.
David, one thing that I see, I should say, a common factor in a lot of these stars that we were talking about, Mikey Garcia, Loma, Leo Santa Cruz, they all have their father. Teofimo. They all have dad right there, man, supporting them and guiding them.
Yeah.
That should say something.
Yeah.
How important, the dad and the father figure. And let's say the father's not there, but if a grandpa or uncle or somebody steps in and replaces that for somebody, where people can go. They can go all the way to the top and become household names like all these gentlemen that we just mentioned. So it's important. That's why seeing what he does here, the youth, he is that person.
Yeah.
He's replacing that. And that's why it's important, man. That's why I'm happy that we're here at the House of Pain. And I truly hope that people appreciate people like him that step in. He doesn't have to do it. He does well. He doesn't have to do it. This is all hard. And I just appreciate him and his program and the people he has involved here. As we were driving up here, we saw him running around the whole Temecula by Pachanga over here by the casino. They're running all over the place. And I saw the shirt, so I said, okay, we're near. And then everybody, as we walked in, was so respectful. So you can see the discipline that's being taught here.
Yeah.
And so right away, every fighter came up, they introduced themselves, and it's refreshing to know that we still have people like this and programs like this, because man, right now in our times, we need it.
Yeah. I'll tell you, Dave, it's a calling that God has placed in your heart. It's a calling. God placed that burden in your heart to help people, to mentor people, and God is honoring it by using you, by seeing, you're planting the seed in all these hearts. And like you said, 10, 15 years from now, these kids are going to come back, whether they go in the Air Force, whether they go in the military, whether they're law enforcement, doctors, lawyers, whatever, they're always going to remember that seed of discipline, that seed of Christ that you're planting in those hearts. Because I know you're a believer. And I know without a doubt that you're not only teaching them, you know, about the discipline of boxing, the art of boxing, but the art of life, the art of the scripture, the art of being humble. And man, it's beautiful to see how God is using you in such a beautiful way. It really is. It's beautiful. It's a calling.
You
Yeah.
know, thank you. And you know, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. God is using me.
Yeah.
I had to go through a long journey to get to that point to realize that what my call was.
Yeah.
I knew it was always to help people. That's why I pretty much retired from my career in 2005 and started helping people because I struggled with the weight problem. I had to get myself back. I was on the verge of having a heart attack. I had high blood pressure. I was borderline sugar diabetes. I had high cholesterol at 35.
Yeah.
At 35, you know, the stress of running two companies, the stress of being a CEO, the stress of having multiple employees, that there was just, it was an incredible burden on me, but I had 6 children to raise. So I promised my wife when we got together, because when we got together, she had 2, I had 4. And I says, you know, if you're willing and you're crazy enough to raise my kids and help me with them, because we both had absentee parents.
Yeah.
And we got together and she says, you know what, I'm behind you 100%. That right there, I knew I could, that right there was enough for me. I was in the printing, I had a printing career for many years. God blessed me with that. Even in Colorado, when I wasn't doing good, I got into printing, and that stood with me for many, many years. And I've had excellent mentors in that area. One of them I will say right now, his name is Tim Kirby, who believed in me. And I believe in mentors because they're far and they're few and in between. But when they give you that little bit of lift and tell you, you know what, there's your opportunity, go for it. You turn that thing on, you know, and I did. She gave me that opportunity. My wife helped me with that. And I promised her, I says, as long as you can take care of these kids, I promise you'll never have to work. And I busted my butt and I did what I had to do. I didn't nobody taught me anything about being a dad. Nobody taught me about being a husband. I mean, those are struggles in my life where I had to be. I didn't have a father. And the father figure that I had, you know, my grandfather, God bless and rest in peace, what little bit he taught me went a long way. I had a couple of uncles here and there giving me little snippets, you know, and what I did was I mimicked their lives. So when I came to this and I'm able to pay this forward, especially now that I'm getting ready to go into retirement. Last year I had a hip replacement in June. Man, that was amazing. I never knew I'd be going through something like that. You know, at such a young age. I was 53. Then right after I had a heart attack. I had a massive heart attack, which is the widowmaker. You're supposed to live, up to 6 minutes outside of the hospital. The Lord kept me alive for 38 minutes. And boy, I'll tell you what, did we have a lot of talk. Did we have a lot of discussions during that time? And you know what? It was the most serene ordeal, knowing that I was dying, but understanding how peaceful it was to go through that whole situation. Because
I know that feeling. I know that feeling. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've been through that yourself?
Oh, yes. Yeah. Not through a heart attack, but I before the elevator door closed, I saw my family for the last time, believing that I would never see him again. And when I woke up and I saw him, I thank God. But I know what you mean. When that moment happens and you're like, time to go. I'm ready. You know? Yeah. It's a beautiful feeling. Yeah.
Yeah, the beautiful little conversation that we had, you know, as they're taking me in there.
Yeah.
And it was on a Saturday night. And my wife, she was like, what do I do? Call the kids? I said, no, please. Don't call the kids. There's one thing I don't want ever to happen is if I'm in an emergency situation and my kids are rushing out on a Saturday night, late in hours in the evening, with everybody with alcohol or drunks driving out or, you know, trying to get to us on a Saturday night. I was like, no, we're going to go through this. You know what I mean? You can tell them later, I don't want anything bad to happen to them. So as I left her and I kissed her and I told her, I says, you know, I love you. I'm not done, but it's all up to him. So we'll see, you know? And so they took me away, and as they're taking me away, you know, and the lights are passing the top, I'm looking at the lights and I'm just so mellow, you know, and I says, well, you know, Lord, I says, let's have this conversation again. I says, you know, I'm not done. I says, according to me, I'm not done. I still got to take care of my mother. I got to take care of my wife. And I know I have a flock that I created over these years that I got to continue to take care of, you know. And so we went through. I never went into a full cardiac arrest, even though I was 280 over 180. It was brutal, but we got in there, and I'll tell you what, we had just left a car show that day at the was it the Embarcadero in San Diego in the Bay.
What year was that? What year was that? What year?
Last year in 2019.
Okay. What month was it? What month?
That was October.
October 2019. Okay, I was already here. Okay. Yeah.
This is a year ago.
A year ago.
1 year
wow.
ago.
A year ago.
12, yeah.
Wow.
So we had a beautiful day. It was the first day my hip didn't hurt. I got worked out that week. I was kind of like, oh my God, this is amazing. I feel great.
Yeah.
You know, but that night when it came on me and we went through that, you know, like I said, we'll jump a little bit forward as I'm going into half the surgery. You know, the doctor turned around and says, we're going to see if we could do anything for you. I'm like, wow, that's really, they got to be truthful and they got to be honest about it because you may not make it out of there. When we got in there, the first thing they did, being at the car show with all my people, man, especially the car club that we hang around with, which is the Slow Lane Familia. We're listening to oldies all day long, you know, and so we're going in there, and these doctors, they're in their 30s, you know, they look like high school kids, man. You know? And they're like, hey, Mr. Trujillo, what kind of music you want to listen to, you know? And I says, throw on some oldies, man. Or they throw on Redwood, first one, Oogum Boogum. There were 3 guys in there, man. They were these kids, they're all singing Redwood. I'm just kicking back, I'm smiling, and they says, we gotta go through your groin. And the other doctor looked at my arm, he goes, his arm is as big as his leg. He goes, let's go through his arm. So they put it through my arm, but went in there, found it, got the stamp, put the stand in. Asked me, how you feeling, Mr. True? I was up through this whole ordeal. And I go, I'm feeling pretty good now, you know? But the Lord had his hands on this whole thing. So when you come out of something like that, David, and you understand this.
Yes.
You come out of something like that. I already knew I had a divine appointment. But now I knew I had to really move on it. I had to not relax on it. You know, don't just be happy with who you're helping lose weight or who you're trying to get back in shape. You know, I knew I had to move on this. And when this shutdown happened, that's when I made up the mind. I said, these kids are probably driving their parents crazy.
Yes, they are.
They need an outlet. So we started getting them over here. We gave them the outlet. School started up. They started back in school. They were able to concentrate better in school. They had, you know, they haven't stopped coming here since. And everybody's checked. Everybody was tested.
Well, you know what, Dave, and now I'm going to venture to say this. I know that we're recording. And hopefully I have Jaime's blessing. I know I do because I know his heart. He has a good heart. Every show that we have from now on, we will mention House of Pain. And we will ask our viewers if they want to donate any money, they want to donate time, anything. Every show from now on, we will mention House of Pain. If it's okay with you, Jaime, because this is something that, I mean, right now, we may have a couple of thousand viewers, but someday we're going to have millions of viewers. And I give you my word that your emblem will be on our emblem, and we will mention you from now on until this show, until the last show. But we are going to, if it's okay with you, Jaime, because you know what? We want to be a blessing to you, you know, like you are to everybody.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you.
And I think we will be blessed. Blessed has been blessed. So, you know, that's what this show's about. It's a little different. From anything that's out there. Like I said, we're at the baby stages, but hopefully this captures the attention of boxing fans that are not used to this type of content. But I think these stories need to be told.
Exactly.
And, you know, if we do it one step at a time, then we're going to do it. But you're right, man. This is the foundation of these stories with Dave. And he's your tocayo, bro, so we can't forget his name. And you know, we just gotta keep on moving forward. And I really appreciate he has a tremendous story. There's some movie trailers and so forth that are in the mix about his whole story. We would be here for 2 days filming him. But I just want to give everyone out there an opportunity to meet him and to know what's coming.
Yeah.
and to know that there's something in the mix and people really need to pay attention and follow him. And why don't you give them your information?
Well, we're the House of Pain. You can reach us at SoCalBoxingClub.com. So it's HOPSC boxingclub.com. House of Pain, Southern California Boxing Club. We're in Temecula, California. The other website you can reach us through is the Lift Kings website, which is www.liftkings, LYFTKINGS. And if you go to there, all our contact information is there. We're in the baby stages as well, so it's going to be a beautiful thing to be able to grow with you guys as you guys grow, and you're going to see us grow. You know, and right now we have some things going on, so I'll give you guys all that information of how we're setting up our sponsorship programs and whatnot.
Perfect.
We do it. I've been in the printing world for many years, advertising world for many years. I came from a crazy life when I was a kid, but I became got into the real working world, and even became a CEO of one company, CFO of another company.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how God has guided me through my life. Mm-hmm. So therefore, when I run anything, everything is done correctly. We're going to be going for our 501c3, which is our nonprofit organization. And then we're going to have a board as well. And the CPA that's going to put this together, and that's Bill Carey, Mr.
Bill Carey. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so he's going to be helping me with the nonprofit organization as well, and he's probably going to sit on our board. You know, he sits on a few boards here and there.
Okay.
And I've got a few other people that I have in mind to actually sit on the board as well, because we want to be so transparent, and we want to let everybody know that all the way from the business all the way up into the ring, everything is transparent and everybody understands where we're truly coming from. Because this isn't for me. This isn't for anything that I have. This is all for them. Yeah. And I want to keep it that way, because I didn't have anybody. I wanted them to know that they have somebody. Yeah. They have a home, male and female.
Hey, Dave, since this is a boxing program, give me your 5 top pound for pound right now. Your 5.
Okay. Well, my number 1 is I got to say Terrence Crawford.
Really? Okay. Over Canelo? Okay.
I love Canelo. He's there in my top.
Yeah.
But Bud Crawford he has my heart. We spoke a couple times, and I even told him, I says, you're gonna be. This is when he wasn't the pound for pound. I says, you're gonna be the pound for pound, and you're gonna go on, and you're gonna get abducted into the Hall of Fame. I says, I see it already. His work ethic, and for the human being that he is, his work ethic is phenomenal. We haven't seen the best of Terrence Crawford.
No.
Nobody has been, and unfortunately, I don't know the politics of the whole deal with Top Rank and Bob Arum and all that. Yeah. There's a lot of speculations going on. I won't speculate on anything, but we haven't really seen anybody face him that pulled it out of him. Now, the last few fights, everybody questioned him, but you know what? He's playing with them. He's playing with them, because he has to make people think that he's beatable in order to attract them.
Yeah.
Okay, so Canelo Alvarez, my gosh, can this guy go from a middleweight all the way to heavyweight and win championships? Yeah, absolutely.
And he's very disciplined too. I don't know if you read about him. He is probably one of the most disciplined fighters in the sport right now. He lives for boxing, because I guess his mentor was a professional boxer that was extremely disciplined. So he lives his life according to that. He'll win a championship, take 2 days off, and he'll be right back at the gym again. He's very disciplined.
Absolutely. And I follow Canelo. I mean, he is a phenomenon. And I watched him when he was back in Mexico. I had good friends here that came from Mexico, so they showed me him before he even became a pro. And they said, "You watch this redhead. You watch this cinnamon here." and I watched it. I was like, "Wow, man, that guy is incredible, man."
Yeah, he is.
Look what he's become.
Exactly.
I mean, really, very phenomenal. As for more pound for pounds right now, well, I'm going to have to give Teofimo his little glory right now. He proved something to me that I thought nobody in this era could prove, and that's to be able to have an answer for anything Lomachenko could put out there. So he stepped up to the plate. I'm not much for the father. I mean, I love the father relationship. I'm not much for the father antics. I don't appreciate that, but still respect them all.
Yeah.
But I have to give Tio his due.
Yeah.
Leo Santa Cruz coming up here.
Uh-huh.
This is another one of my hearts right here.
Yeah.
I've never seen the corazon of a man step up to every situation and answer every call that he's ever taken in the middle of that ring.
Yeah.
And Tank Davis is coming up this week, and I love Tank as well. No credit taken away from him. But again, like I said with Teofimo, he better have a true, actual God-given talent in order to disassemble this man.
Exactly.
Because this man ain't going to allow you just to disassemble him and take anything away from him. You know.
Have you met Dave? Have you met Leo Santa Cruz?
Not yet, but you know what? Today they made me one of his top fans.
Really, I'm telling you, he is a gentleman. I've met him about 3 times at different fights, and he will come up and he'll talk to me and he'll introduce me to his father. And he's a gentleman and a very nice person, a good person, very humble young man.
You know what? Let me take that back a little bit. I haven't really met him and had a conversation with him, but I did meet him over at the StubHub. I believe it was when Julio Diaz fought Keith Thurman. And that was his final bout when he went into retirement. And so I met him there. I met Abdamades, and like I said, I used to sit on the front row with those guys. And you know, they were so young, but they were amazing. Another one who has my heart, man, and this guy's puro chingón, and his corazón is amazing. God bless his soul, man, is Pedro Angulo, man. I met him on a few occasions, man, but you know what, man, they don't make men like that. You know, there's just not any men made like that anymore. You know, so I mean, we could go on and on.
Exactly.
Whatever you want to talk about, I'll be happy to talk about it with you guys.
What about trainer? Which one is your trainer that you follow that you really enjoy watching train? Any special trainers like Robert Garcia, the Reynosa brothers? So many out there.
You know, Robert Garcia. You know, he's such a student of his own game.
Yes.
And when you become a student of your own game, you become a master of your game. And we've watched him become a master of his own game. You know, with all of his fighters, not only with his brother, but with every fighter that's walked through there, from Bam Bam to anybody that goes to train with him, they come out different people. You know, and that's impressive, because most trainers, you could leave a trainer and go to another trainer, but they still, you don't see them take that change. But Robert Garcia changes his guys. And he turns them directly into that student. So you could be a student of your game, you could become a master of your game. You have to walk, you have to crawl before you walk, and he breaks them all the way back down, and he rebuilds them all the way up with their style. So I have much respect for Robert Garcia.
And you know he lives. You know he lives by your gym.
Does he?
He lives. Yeah, he lives right there in Menifee, that area.
Oh man, I would love to have them guys.
Really? All right, we're gonna see if we can invite him to your gym one of these days. Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely.
Here's the other connection. Just talking about like the dads involved in these fighters, right?
Oh yeah. Well, that's a perfect example. Big G.
There, man. To me, he's a legendary trainer.
Oh, he is. He is. Yeah.
But I want to finish this conversation up with this last question here.
Yeah.
Who do you see is going to be the next face of boxing?
Who do I see is going to be the next face of boxing?
Because currently we have Teofimo. He's currently the face of boxing right now. What he did, no one thought. I mean, very few people can truly say, oh, no, he's going to win hands down. I was asked that same question, and I called it on a gamble. And I don't know if it was more because I wanted him to win, but I knew he had the skills, and I knew his dad would not put him in a situation that was going to make that family legacy look bad. So I knew that they knew that they had enough to take him out, which they displayed. But I think the face of boxing right now, to be honest with you, is that kid that's in the ring somewhere that we don't know yet.
You met him today. One of the 2 little boys. You met him today. Yes, that's him. Yeah.
We don't know.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty about this sport.
Yeah.
Next legend. We don't even know his name yet. He can step into the ring but I'm gonna tell you who impressed me though lately. the young man from Puerto Rico that fought in the preliminary.
Yes.
Everybody
The
in the first round.
168 pounder. That one that's knocking everybody out.
What's his name?
I'm trying to think of his name. He's 168 pounder out of, he lives in New Jersey. He's from Puerto Rico.
Who's a Puerto Rican 68 legend?
Well, these are the guys, huh? The Garcia boys.
Yeah. Starts with a B, he said. Well,
we'll find them. Look who's behind you, Jaime. There's a future champs right there. Right there. That's a future champs. That's right.
Man, these are the future Ruelas brothers.
That's right. Future champs, man. One day we're going to get your autograph. We're going to say that you were on our show. One day in the near future, in about 10 years, we're going to be happy that you were on our show. You were little kids. You're going to be world champions.
They're 15 and 17, so it could be in just a couple years.
Oh, they're 15, 17. Okay. Yeah. 3 years. Definitely. Yeah. It's a pleasure meeting you guys. God bless you guys, man. Yeah.
So look, that was my last question.
They're right there. The future.
I actually hoping.
Yeah.
So, Dave, we thank you. We thank you for coming.
Oh, thank you, Dave. Yeah, appreciate it.
Rolling with the punches. This guy right here, Dave, man, has so much passion. It's contagious.
Yeah,
it is. Yeah.
We thank you. I know we're at a 3-hour difference with you, but I wish you were here, man. There's a lot of good vibes here at the gym. This man right here, he's a champion in a whole different league.
Yeah.
He has a belt that wrapped around his waist, and I don't know if you can see, man, but this guy's guns, man.
Yeah.
He's gonna have a permit for those guns.
Yeah.
But first thing I said when I came in, had him take a good look at the gut, and I said, "Hey, man, do I have a chance?" He goes, "Heck yeah, you have a chance." I'm gonna take him up on that.
Yeah.
Dave, I appreciate you guys. We're gonna clock out. We're gonna come back and follow up this story as we move along. Like you said, he's gonna be part of us from now on.
Yes.
So I just want to thank everyone out there for these stories need to be told, and I think kids, fans, whoever, they need these stories to be told so we can move this sport into a different direction. Everybody thinks that, like he mentioned earlier, oh, it's a sport that people get hurt. It's a sport that's violent. It's a sport that this and that. You have football and all these other sports that have more injuries than boxing. I have done the studies and the statistics on that. I challenge people to go look that up. And I think if you live around this neighborhood, that you should look up this House of Pain gym here in Temecula. It's beautiful out here. And this city out here, people are into health. Everywhere we drive, there's some kind of gym or hot keto or jiu-jitsu, whatever. But right now, man, you want to come down to a boxing gym, you want to learn some great skills and learn how to be a gentleman and a lady, come to this gym right here. Peace out.
Peace.
Thank you.
Peace.
Pleasure, David.